St Albans City have kicked off the 2018-19 season with a 3-2 National League South victory over Hungerford Town at Clarence Park. It was secured with a goal in the 5th minute of added time. I should imagine you're quite happy with the result, Ian, and very relieved, man. What about overall?
I have to say, David, yeah, I'm relieved and happy with the result. But I was really pleased with the performance for a long period. I felt we had a 20 minute in the second half after they got the second goal from the penalty, which I thought was a little bit harsh. And I felt for 20 minutes they caused us a lot of problems and we sort of lost our way, and I think it was a bit of a blow. But, you know, I felt that, and I said it with what we've got on the bench and what we can bring off the bench, it's quite exciting that, you know, you've got Ramon and you've got Zane Banton and you've got Sam Merson, who's got 24 goals last year in the Conference South. So defensively, we caused ourselves some problems in that 20 minutes of the second half, but you know, once we started to just change things around and we got our foot back in the game, I felt we played really well the last 15-20 minutes. Put some good balls in, caused lots of problems, got lots of goals. And I think the stats we've just been looking at, I think the first half we had 10 shots, only 2 on target, and that's probably what let us down today.
The equalising goal, our second goal, came 82 minutes. We've seen it several times with you in charge. Don't leave City matches early.
Well, as I say, it's one thing that, you know, we can throw caution to the wind, and we had that to them. We'd had nothing to lose by that stage. I was just disappointed the way we started the game. We were 1-0 down after 4 minutes, and second half it's 2-1 down after 5 minutes of the second half, and we've got to learn from that, because we've got to start games sharper and brighter, because we can't keep giving teams head starts in this league. And as you've seen today, the players have had to work extremely hard in difficult conditions in terms of the heat, and in the end, you know, we got something out of it, but we could have been, when it was 2-1 down, we could have been 3 or 4-1 down at one stage there, so that was quite disturbing. So we have to learn to take our time in trying to get back into the game. I just felt we threw caution to the wind too quickly, and everyone went bombing on. A lot of the people left their defensive duties to one side, and I just felt we needed to go and chase the game, but I didn't think we had to until that sort of last 15-20 minutes, and then we got back in the game. But I felt, you know, we played some decent football today. We got in some great areas. We probably had 12-15 corners, and had some really good opportunities, and we've not taken them, and that's been frustrating, because, as I say, by half time we'd had 10 opportunities and only hit the target twice.
Several times pre-season you expressed concern about our defence looking a bit frail, and you did so in an interview a few minutes before the game. As you say, 4 minutes into the game we are 1 down, and the side that's favourites for relegation, Hungerford Town, they did expose us quite a few times. Yeah, and that's the areas you know, we have to keep working on, but you know, we speak long and hard about it. It's just not about your defenders. We have to defend well from the front. And you know, I felt for long periods in the first half we defended very well from the front, and it makes life easier for the midfield players in the back four. But you know, going 2-1 down into the second half, going down the slope, it just felt that there was 3 or 4 players really lost the defensive side of the game. It was just bombing on, and you can't do that, because we started to leave holes and started to leave spaces, and they started to hurt us in them areas, and that's why we've got to be a bit more disciplined. But I can understand why we wanted to do it, because, as I say, we're 2-1 down at home, chasing the game, first game of the season, but we have to be a little bit more disciplined in times we have to attack and times we have to defend, and I felt we got on the front foot too early in that second half. But for me, the penalty kills just after half time, because again, the players are just all throwing forward, looking to try and get an equaliser, and we left ourselves exposed at the back, where I felt first half we looked quite comfortable defensively. You mentioned Sam Merson, 24 goals last season. No place for him in the starting line-up today. His place was taken by Ralston Gabriel, stepping up from a lower level after scoring 30-odd goals last season. To score 2 on his first game at this level, it's not a bad start. No, and he's done well. I think he's got 3 in midfield. He's just a pest, David, isn't he? I mean, he don't stop running, he don't stop chasing, he puts people under pressure, he wants to get involved with defenders, and he's just generally just a smashing kid, to be fair. He's got a great work ethic about him, and you know, as I said, it was difficult before the game, because I literally could have picked 2 of any of them 3, and I went with the 2 boys, David and Ralston. You know, luckily enough for me, it's paid off with Ralston scoring 2, but we could have quite easily played Sam today, and a couple of the chances the other boys have missed, Sam might have scored. I mean, Sam's had a great chance there at 2-2 when he's nicked the ball over the defender, and he's just got to keep it a beat and smashed it out the ground. So
But great that we've got those players this year. I didn't think we had that into that level last year. I felt we was always struggling with one up front, or maybe if we did try two up front, we never had a third person we could bring on to change things around. Where this season, you know, you've got Zane Banton and Roman that can both come and cause problems in holes. And you know, going forward, yes, we've got lots and lots of options and lots of pace, lots of movement. But as I say, sometimes we've got to make sure that we defend all over the park, not just the back three at times, back four.
You talk about defensively, obviously Woking on Tuesday is going to be massively different than this. Is there going to be any sort of thoughts to change in personnel? Or?
I think it's probably difficult straight after the game, but I've obviously got to take stock in terms of what we've got. We're looking to try and bring one or two players in at this precise time, whether we can do that. We've got one lad who's been training with us and played against Biggleswade, Richard, but he's still carrying a bit of a hamstring. So we've got some options, but again, it's, you know, as I said today, we've got a squad of 16 in there today, and that's our squad at the moment. So we'll go with what we've got, and then we might have to just change a little bit of personnel around in terms of what their strengths are. You know, and I'll speak to some people tomorrow to find out what Hampton were like, what Woking were like, and their strengths and weaknesses, and then we'll decide what shape we're going to play and what personnel we'll play. But as I say, if we start getting the same work ethic we've had today and the way they finished off in the end, and it was great for the crowd because it was nice to give them something to shout about, because 20 minutes of the second half was quite frustrating. But in the end, you know, we've managed to get the winner from a great header from David Dahiju, which is I think he got 10 last year for Hendon, so he's already on his way now.
And there was one other player, possibly won't, another new boy who possibly won't get the mention, is Kale DeCosta, played in a sort of, maybe his unfamiliar wing-back position.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see when we changed him over, I felt we got a bit more out of him. I felt on the left-hand side there, he started to just go, not go through the motions, but we struggled to get the ball to him. We're down this hand, so I was having a little bit of joy. So I felt by bringing him over here, we might be able to start taking the fullback on, getting beyond the fullback, which is what he's done for the goal. And we've got in there 3 or 4 times today, and the amount of balls were smashed across the face of the goal. And even with that one, I thought he hit it miles too hard, but David managed to control his head, and you know, to be fair, it was a great finish from where he was. I know he weren't far out, but that's still a hard ball to head, and managed to put it on target, and it's ended up in the back of the net, which was great because, as David said earlier, it was the 94th, 95th minute. Didn't really give him much time to get back into the game.
For the past 2 seasons, Ian, we've got off to a great start. Haven't been able to maintain to the end of the season, unfortunately. It's asking a lot for this side to live up to the start of the past 2 seasons.
I think it's a new squad, as we said. You know, it's getting players to understand different players' weaknesses and strengths, and coming together as a changing room. But certainly, as I said, you know, at times going forward, it really excites me. I think we've got lots of pace and personnel that want to score goals, which is good. But again, it's difficult because we are, you know, only carrying a squad of 16. You know, if we pick injuries and suspensions up, it was going to be tough. And you know, it's okay saying we fell away. But unfortunately, you know, some of these players get tired after 42 games in the cup games. And as you already know, this month, I think we've got 7 games this month. So that's going to take a big toll on the squad. But we have to live with that, you know, and if the players get tired after Christmas, we'll have to see where we are. But, you know, hopefully my first thing is to get to 44 points. I've said it all along. You know, let's not look anything about playoffs, because I don't think we are going to be one of them 8 teams this year. I think there's 8 better teams than us at the moment. But you never know. If the squad keeps doing what it's doing, it's worked extremely hard in some games in pre-season. It's been a tough pre-season when you play, you know, your Northamptons, your Stevenages, your Lutons and your Leighton Orients. They were tough games, but it learnt this lot a lot about how much harder they've got to work. And I felt in the end the fitness looked really good. I mean, their boys were starting to tire a little bit, and the heat was starting to take its toll. But I felt we got stronger and stronger and stronger as the half went on. And in the end, we got a reward. And I felt we deserved it in the end, even though they had a good 20 minutes in the second half. I felt overall we deserved to win the game today.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian, and congratulations for starting the season.
Thank you very much.
Win. This coming Tuesday, that's the 7th of August, the Saints return to action. We're travelling down to Surrey. We'll play Woking, and kick-off at Kingfield is at 7:45.